We're all
Right.
very, and I said, well, while you're all patting yourselves on the back, the overall budget went up over 10%.
Right.
So,
Well,
and it's like, so every office is getting a 10% raise. And while people are starving out there, there's no jobs and people are hurting. And again, I'm all happy that there's no tax, but that's the same thing as raising the gas up $1 and then knocking it down 20 cents. You say, see, hey, it's way down, it's 20 cents down this week. Yeah, but it's 80 cents up. And people, they're slowly starting not to fall for this. But I mean, in general, the trick works, the illusion works.
Well, but it's not working as much anymore. And this
No.
goes to what your question was about how do we spread the word? How do we share our message? And it's by having a conversation like this. You mentioned, the mainstream media is not serving our cause in any way, shape, or form. Well, they become more and more obsolete every day as people realize that, wait a minute, I'm being told by, the big 3 or 5 networks that everything's all fine and good and going to work out dandy if I just hold on one more month. But I'm looking at houses in my neighborhood going up for sale at 20% below what market value used to be. Nobody's got a job in my neighborhood.
Right.
My kids are moving back home. I can't send my kid to college. So when the message that people are getting does not match the it creates an opening for grassroots movements like ours to come in and say, look, this is where, these are the facts, and this is where you, by joining with us, can have impact. And this is where, in Massachusetts, the Tea Party movement is having the most impact, and that's on Beacon Hill, because we just don't have that delegation in Washington.
Right, now, are you familiar with the news of the day? I know on the CNN website early this morning, there was a great big headline, and this is typical to what we're talking about here. This is very typical. And it was in a lot of places. It wasn't just on CNN. It was in a lot of places reported very widely that the foreclosure rate had dropped way, way down over this time last year. Did you see that?
I did not. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, though.
Okay, and then once you read it, and of course they changed it all in the late, like at 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon on the CNN site. Then they had the headline underneath it. But before you actually had to read the story, and the reason the rate dropped so much was not that there was less foreclosures. There was actually more. But it's just that the banks have been bogged down and haven't been able to record them.
Can't process them.
They couldn't process them. So it's a fake reading, but it got everybody going, and that's not. I'm not blaming any one news organization, because several of them had it, but that's how they do it, and that's how they manipulate you people every day. You guys have to pay attention to this stuff.
Well, it's like the jobs report. Comes out on Friday, and by Tuesday they're changing it. Sometimes it doesn't even take till Tuesday.
Well, there's a reason
and
things
then
come out on Friday.
It comes out on Friday, and then the following Wednesday we hear that the jobs report from the month before is going to be altered down.
Yeah.
So what we do know, and we have to trust what we see. And what we do see is that, they say that the unemployment rate is 9.2%. But what we know is that among the 18 to 25-year-olds, it's much higher than that. Among young minorities, it's through the roof. It's well over 20%. But then we have illegal immigrants who are, now they're not coming as over the border as fluidly as they were before. But their unemployment isn't at 20-something%.
No.
We've got a lot of issues to tackle, and we have an administration that is simply interested in political power mongering. And that's what people are recognizing. They're not listening to what my concerns are, and nothing they're doing is helping. It's making it worse.
Well, when you have a governor who got reelected and the next day said the first thing he did is he's opening up the state to all these, undocumented workers, and
right.
that doesn't send a very comforting message to someone like me who actually does work for a living and pays all my taxes.
Right.
And
right.
I have a problem with that.
Well, and the secure communities issue, he's waffled on that back and forth. He sent his administration officials out to hold these public forums on it that were packed with illegal immigrant, what's the word I want? Advocates. Tea Party members showed up and started asking good questions, including why isn't ICE, who administers this program, part of this discussion? And then when they got a bunch of backlash on it, they canceled half the appointments, and the governor announced, we're just not going to sign up.
Right. And I guess now, from what I understand now, if you're an undocumented person in this country, an illegal alien, all right, and you steal a car in Boston, it's okay. Because that was a direct quote from the mayor of Boston now.
Yeah,
and he did say that. He said a guy stole a car, and they get arrested, and if they sent his fingerprints to Washington, we would deport him, and that's not the Boston he wants. So obviously he wants a Boston where illegal people can come in and steal cars.
Yeah.
And and he's not backed down from that.
Yeah. Now, if that person used that car to run over somebody, they would now be a violent criminal, and it would be okay to deport them. And that's really, kind of the conundrum that, people like us who are common sense look at. One of the stories that they're using out of Boston to show why secure communities should be completely dumped, which, as we all know about government, there's always a review process. We know this from our lives. We knew this from setting up chore charts for our children, right? This is the job that you're going to do, and this is how it's going to be done, and then it goes into practice, and it all fails miserably.
I'm a little older than you. We didn't have charts.
Looking over it again.
We had a chain of command.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. It's the point of it is that here we have a great program that protects. It's a public safety issue. It protects everyone, including illegal aliens, and they're using these small, petty examples. Now, if the policy says we're only going to deport criminals that commit certain crimes, and someone accidentally gets deported, it sounds so stupid to say.
Isn't being here illegally a crime?
It is, but according to this policy, it's not a deportable
That's like
crime.
being a little bit pregnant. I'm sorry. Either you are or you're not. It's black and white. If
It
you're
does.
either here legally or you're not.
And don't get me wrong, I am not defending it in any way, shape, or form.
I'm just painting
I'm banging that drum, we need a better policy across the board. How I look at this, though, as someone who, now works I don't work in government, but works in policy, is the federal government is unwilling to do anything to defend our borders, to enforce our borders, and to enforce our immigration laws.
Right. As
states,
local sheriffs are getting shot.
Right. And state representatives are getting run into by drunk illegal aliens driving cars. And even, so it's really...
Yeah, I know.
We as states need to go on the offense. And one of the ways that we are being afforded to do that is by implementing secure communities, which, contrary to the reports that keep happening, started during the Bush administration. This policy was created by the Bush administration.
Same with the light bulbs.
If the Obama administration,
Same with the light bulbs. And I'll tell you,
that goes back.
That's right on the feet of George Bush. That George W. Bush is the curly light bulbs. I mean, you can thank him for that.
Well, we all make mistakes. I used to have curly hair, so.
Well, okay.
But it's...
Well, let me ask you a question, though. Rather than doing all this, and because you got all these softies and these people that, want to give everything. And matter of fact, we wouldn't be in the trouble we were in now if we stopped giving away free stuff to illegals.
Well, to anybody.
Yeah, but particularly, just if you're going to take care of American citizens, fine. But people who are not citizens and are getting free stuff, that adds up to billions and billions of dollars.
It does.
And if they just stop
at
doing
all
that,
levels, the federal level and the state level and your local community, your real estate taxes are paying into a school system that is providing benefits to the children of people who are not contributing.
That's right. And the other, it's a two-pronged thing, though, is stop giving away the money, okay? And the other thing is go after the people that hire these people. These people are here. They come here looking for work. They find a lot of them find out you don't have to make it big in this place,
right? In
this country, because they seek them out and find them almost like a goon squad, and they pepper them with every pamphlet for every benefit they can get.
Mm-hmm. So, are you ready for the really good news?
Oh, there is good news?
There's really good news.
Okay.
2 pieces of legislation pending in Massachusetts right now. They started with State Senator Bob Hedlund.
Yes.
They proceeded through Representative Jeff Perry.
Yep.
And now Representative Daniel Webster. Notice we've got this kind of South Shore contingency over there. Not to be confused with the South Coast,
or
which
Jordan
I've been told there's, So we have 2 pieces of legislation right now that the Greater Boston Tea Party and Tea Parties around the state are advocating for that will cut off benefits to people who are A, not legal residents of Massachusetts, B, are incarcerated, and C, are receiving benefits in another state.
Carnac says...
No, there is growing support. We were on Beacon Hill yesterday talking to legislators about this legislation. It's not strictly illegal immigrants that are targeted with this. We're talking about people incarcerated getting welfare and unemployment checks. The next piece, and this I love Representative Daniel Webster for this, the current penalty for employing an illegal alien is a $150 fine. It's cheaper because of how difficult it is to have a new employee in Massachusetts to continue to pay the fine and rehire illegals.
Absolutely.
So what we're doing is we're upping that to $5,000 on the first, $10,000 on the second, and then opening up jail time.
Okay, now they're
it's our
cooking.
job, right? It's our job. We're the grassroots activists to get out there, spread the word, and create the political pressure to pass these bills. If they don't pass, then we find those people who voted against these common sense measures that will help make Massachusetts less attractive to illegals coming here.
Massachusetts is
And
very
vote them out of
attractive to all
office.
kinds of things. And we've dealt with the Protect Mass Children people. And
Right.
again, Massachusetts is a magnet. You know, it really
Well,
is.
that we either change it, we work to change it, and we accept that this is going to be a
I mean, what
long-term
is the
battle, or we
purpose- What
move.
is the purpose for voting, you know, to do all this for these people? I mean, what do they get out of it? I don't understand that. Why make it so that we're just, you know, pouring all our tax dollars in down the drain, basically, is not for tax-paying people and not for the, you know, I mean, it's one thing to take care of our own. I mean,
Right.
no human being will let another human being go hungry. No human being won't do that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And we always take care of ourselves, but I mean, you get all these people coming in, especially
and
from
this is the fundamental
from out of the country.
shift
and
that's happened in the nation.
they come in here, they commit crimes, and not all of them, but they are committing a crime. And so that anyone who's here is illegally is committing a crime.
Right.
Okay, you know, there's different levels of criminal, but it is
Yeah.
a crime.
Well, and what we have is this is the grand disconnect that we're seeing at all levels of government. That the constituency, the common sense people who work every day, who go home, who just want to do their jobs and go home to their families and have a little bit left over to go to Disney and give at church or give to their local food bank or the animal shelter, you know, these people are being taken advantage of because we are good-hearted and we believe in sharing, you know, what we have, no matter how much or
We're
how
not
little
sharing
that
it.
is.
We're not sharing it if
Government is not a good deliverer of
no,
that.
because these
And
people
that's the
can do better than the
realization-
people that work for a living.
Right, and that's the realization that we've come to, that the people who are making these decisions are not in line with us in terms of ideology. They are progressives. Liberals are out the door. These are now progressives, and they are overwhelmingly part of our government, but not part of our mindset.
Okay.
We have got to elect different people into office. What the movement needs to do is identify who those people are.
Okay. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get off
All right.
policy, okay? Because we've done really good on that, and I've actually enjoyed this, but we got a bunch of other things we got to get to.
Excellent.
On a limited amount of time. How often do you meet? Your
Well, the Greater Boston Tea Party meets every other month in 5 or 6 different locations. We're a little geographically large.
Okay,
we
that
have
was
kind
my
of like
next
little
question.
satellite organizations.
That was my next question is where do you meet? So you meet
Yeah.
in the
Bos-
area.
Right. We're in Boston, we're in Mansfield, we're in Holbrook, we're in Reading, we're in Medford, and we're in Framingham off and on. It's a conundrum.
Have you ever heard of something called TCOT?
I have.
You have. And
It's insidious.
so how do you feel about that? What TCOT is, if you don't know what it is a out-of-state based group. They're from Ohio, which is where you're from.
I hang my head.
Okay, and it's I don't know if it's an individual or a group of individuals.
Probably some guy in his mother's basement who doesn't even wear
and
pants.
another person who does not like the Tea Party, so he's trying to organize a boycott of places of business that host a Tea Party meeting so you host one in Mansfield?
We do every month, actually.
Every month in Mansfield. So what they want you to do is boycott the places. Is it the same place or is it
It's
different?
the same place every month.
Okay, and they want you to boycott this place and hurt this person's business.
Right. Which is
because-
ironic because we hold meetings in private businesses in order to provide revenue for them because we believe strongly in the free market.
Right. And I've been to some of the meetings and you know, the food's good.
The food's good. We spend a little money. We have a cocktail
Yeah,
or two. We have great
pays
discussion.
everybody pays into the pot and
Yes.
and there's so you don't get anything for free from these places. You
Nope.
pay your own tab, you pay your own way, just like
Exactly.
the Phantom Gourmet.
Yes.
Okay, and then so it's kind of Yeah, I mean, this has a, I mean, the T-Cot, I don't have much stake in it, and I don't have much belief in it, and I don't see them really gaining a lot of steam. But I mean, this has the potential to have some real negative impact on a small business that's probably hurting otherwise if they didn't host a big group like yours. You come in, it's a fairly sizable group, and I'm sure that the owner of that business is happy to see